Next on the line here, Dark. What do you have for us?
All right, I have a a YouTuber series where we're back. We're back to YouTube.
Yes.
So I
And you have
have
one of the PA Works series, right? For this year.
yeah,
One of three, I think, is the PA Works series.
at like random trivia stream it. Um, but their main thing. Oh, wait, what? Hold on one second. I'm just double checking to make sure that the yeah, okay, that was it.
Stream is back on now. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say mine died for a second. Did I lose
Haha,
connection or
speaking of
something?
YouTube,
Weird. Anyway,
but we're not on YouTube.
Yeah.
What?
but yeah, so the main crux is that while Masaki is with this Harikiri Sisters group, she winds up having a falling out with the other two members, and during a live stream, she punches one of the other members in the face. Um,
Okay.
yeah, and so that basically leads to them just cutting ways with her. Um, and then, like, while she's sort of getting drunk and dejected at night, watching watching the stream of the other two members essentially announcing their their mutual going of separate ways. Um, she winds up what would you call it? Getting kicked out of the bar that she's in, and then she ends up in an abandoned hospital, just drunkenly like stumbling around, saying to herself, "Oh man, like this was like one of our first videos we did together," like sort of reminiscing about how like she was the one who even suggested they started making videos, but they kicked her out so unfairly. But
Right.
meanwhile, the entire time that this is being set up, it does very much like it very much is implied. Like, yeah, Masaki is like an asshole. Like she is a dickhead.
Yeah.
And it was kind of reasonable that the other two fucking kicked her out. Um, and anyway, while she's investigating, going through this abandoned hospital, she winds up running into Live, who is the pink-haired vampire girl, voiced by Fido's Eye. The main thing with Live is she is a vampire. She's been asleep for 20 years, and in her dream, she saw a girl um, who she like immediately fell in love with and wanted to drink her blood, and that just so happened to look exactly like Masaki. Um,
Okay.
yeah. So anyway, a little bit of hijinks ensues while Masaki is extremely drunk with Live at the hospital, at this abandoned hospital. And she winds up making a deal with her in her drunkenness, like if you, as a vampire, like if you, um, was it if you help me get to 1 million subs, like if you make a channel with me and we make get to 1 million subs, you can make a meal out of me. And so Live immediately falls in line with this plan. And that's kind of where it picks up with Masaki now living in the mansion with a series of other vampires. And so the vampire cast, we have Live, the like extremely energetic, um, and like almost like a Kuriko from Raildex type scenario
Uh-huh.
of her fawning over Masaki. Um, and then you have Fu, who is the quiet, like shy girl, blonde haired girl. Um, and blonde haired, blue haired girl. You have Tokake, who is like an extremely degenerate Onesan type almost. Well, not Onesan type, but she's like a gambler. She's an smoker, a hoarder in her room, etc., etc. You have Yuki, who is the what would you call her? Almost like the she's a very much the straight man. and also the like rules follower, essentially. Very strict character. And then you have Ichiko, who is like pretty much like subservient to Live, like an extremely um, sort of obedient follower who will go along with pretty much any of her plans. She's like a Genki girl type like lolly character. And pretty much
Like,
like a
what this
lot of the
is
series.
reminding me this, like, premise kind of is reminding me of is it's starting out like the surface level is something like Viral Hit, right? Where they're just going, "Okay, we're here to make YouTube content," or whatever it is, but then the characters structurally are kinda designed more like one of those uh, Teppen, the recent one where it was like laugh out loud or whatever that thing was, where it's like, they had the girls doing the Manzai stuff, but then later on it was that show is delayed, and then there was like a couple of other like Manzai related stuff, right? There was also something like Joshiraku, right? It's kind of
Mhm.
that. It's to me, it kind of seems like that. The characters.
Yeah, I mean, the way they're doing a lot of this is sort of pretty like it makes a lot of sense with the way that they sort of fall in line, just because you have them filling in different videos essentially and like content ideas. So to semi spoil like a lot of the earlier, or not a lot, but like the earlier episode of like one, I want to say episode 2-ish or something, is them pretty much like blazing a trail on YouTube because Masaki is just having them film like themselves doing random shit with their vampire powers. Like they'll be flying through the air, they'll be taking like big fault, they'll be like jumping off a bridge and landing and like nailing the landing. The entire time, like the video says like, "Oh, this is done doing like using CG, etc., etc." But they become extremely popular because they're doing these like crazy stunts. And their opening is like for some reason they're the Choo Choo Pop girls, but they like so they have like those Choo Choo Pops, the like frozen like what do you call like those like weird double segmented ice pop things or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, and they're just doing like weird shit with those for some reason. And so
Right.
they start racking up subs. They get like hundreds of thousands of views immediately. Masaki's like, "Oh my god, this is gonna work! Like, we're gonna beat my other channel like so easily." Oh yeah, the whole point of doing this too is to show up the other two girls, like the hyped up sisters, essentially. Um, but also that Masaki like genuinely does seem to want to do like the sort of production end of content creation. Um, but Yuki, the sort of like the strict like proper girl, winds up finding out about it and pretty much destroys all of their stuff, like forces them, like tells them you have to delete the channel, and the reason why is because a character that I haven't seen yet in the show, she says if Mother finds out, like there will be hell to pay. And so I assume that's going to be
Mm.
like sort of the overarching, like the overlord vampire woman, essentially. And so the big problem was you're using your vampire powers on camera. Like, it's the classic vampire thing of like, don't fuck this up for everyone else. Um, with like, don't let humans like know your powers. It's already bad. She was like, it's already bad enough that you brought a human in. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of where they start from zero and how they sort of write off the ease of just fully relying on vampire powers to make videos. Um, And so what winds up happening more so is that there's a lot more, the vampire powers become a lot more of sort of like trivia and slapstick. Obviously like they're slapstick because there's just straight up fights
Trivia about what?
sometimes. There's fights between the characters so every now and then with vampire powers like being involved. There's certain trivia of using like needing to be invited in to places to be able to get in. There's the way garlic affects them. There's some slapstick bits with
Oh,
sunlight.
like vampire trivia. Vampire trivia. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
yeah. There's some vampire trivia.
Yeah.
There's obviously YouTube trivia all throughout this thing, like whether it be
Yeah, yeah,
content
yeah, yeah.
creation, channel monetization, channel strikes. algorithm type trivia and things like that. Um, so, there's like a lot of those things going on at the same time. And the way the show winds up going now, like is going like right now, is kind of like each episode is sort of a video idea. Like there's one episode where they have Fu. They find out Mazuki finds out that she can sing, and so she wants her to do a cover song. And so for that, that was probably the most serious episode like so far. And
Hmm.
that kind of gets into the like I won't spoil too much, but let's put it this way, like it kind of becomes Fu overcoming a like past experience. And also the idea of vampires being immortal, living longer, outliving people, um,
Right.
being sort of a general theme of the episode. But that ties back into getting the cover song done. Um, there's another one of them, doing a challenge, an endurance challenge video of eating plates of garlic. Um, there's
Are these like mini episodes within the larger episode, or like
so
how are these distributed
So as far
throughout the
as
episodes?
as far as the like cover song one, that was like the whole episode, right? Because it goes through the entire
Okay. Yeah.
character. It's a lot of like the character stuff. That garlic like endurance thing was kind of like a bit towards the end of an episode that like resulted from them like trying to find content elsewhere and essentially fucking up. And then Yuki is like as a punishment for doing this, you now have to eat a plate of garlic. You all have to eat a plate of garlic. Um, and then one of the girls, Tokage, the gambler, goes to Masaki like, "Well, here it is. This is content." And so that's kind of seems to be like a lot of what happens. It seems like the next episode that I did not get to, I think episode 5, is a them trying to like survive, like do like a survival challenge on an island. Um, and so yeah, I think that's kind of just where this is gonna go from there. I'm
Yeah.
sure they're gonna have like a pachinko stream episode or something with Tokage. Um, not really sure what Ichiko's thing is gonna be because her thing is that her ideas are kind of all not not great. Like they're just kind of like either way over budget for what she's thinking or just like not great ideas like whatsoever. Um,
Yeah.
but
But
yeah,
it does kind
overall,
of keep tone throughout all the episodes, right?
it does keep what?
It keeps this sort of like same sort of level of energy slash tone through all the episodes, right? And it's not just like suddenly, oh, we gotta do something like overarching like
Well, I would
story
say
about what.
at least so far, yes. Fu's episode
Mhm.
was kind of like the most somber. It obviously still had a lot of comedy in it. But it was a very like bittersweet episode. Uh, it did also, spoiler alert, it featured New York City and a lot of like pretty decent English from people.
That's pretty
So
good.
I don't know if they found like those like people who are living in Japan who like are actors or something from like Norway or some
They
shit.
found all the guys and English teachers and round them up. They were
Yeah, like
just
it very much like some of the delivery was very awkward, obviously, like some of it, but like a majority of it was like, oh wait, that sounds like shockingly normal. And it was like kind of jarring how
yeah.
normal it sounded. Like you're very much not used to hearing like normal English alongside, like normal
Mhm.
Japanese.
Right.
So very interesting dynamic there. But also very cool to see New York City. Very cool. Um, but yeah. So other than that, there is like I said, it does keep a lot of like super high energy and very like a balance between a lot of like like whether it be wordplay or slapstick comedy and stuff like that. So I would say that part is very enjoyable. I would be curious to see where this winds up going. I kind of hope it can keep pace. I'm sure it
Mm.
will have like a semi drama, like, or something that wraps up like
Probably in
between the
like the
cast or
last,
something.
2 or 3 episodes ish, yeah.
Yeah, and then they realize that, hey, man, we need each other, work together.
We're gonna
Um,
comedy it up together.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it'll
Okay.
do. I'm sure it'll do a lot of that. Um,
Okay.
but yeah,
Audio visuals real quick?
the audio visuals are phenomenal. Um,
Okay.
these audio
I mean, this
visuals
P works.
are,
I'm just surprised that they are maintaining this across 3 series. I mean, I don't know about the 3rd one because I don't know whether I'm gonna be able to get to it or not, for the review, but it's like 3 series, right? They're doing 3 series this season, so that's not a light job.
yeah. And so what I think is, and yeah, so like I said, the audio visuals are wonderful. The audio is godlike, and one of the things that I realized after looking at it was that that may also, be down to some of the sound director. The sound director is the sound director for a little series called Angel Beats. Also the sound director for Asobi Asobase. So I think like the music pacing and everything, like when to kick into like some really weird track or like some really bombastic track and all of that pacing. Like Asobi Asobase had an amazing, like especially for a comedy series, a application of that. And sort of the choices of music that they had throughout each episode. Obviously, this guy's done a hell of a lot more. Uh, Satoki Ida. He's also done like, I mean, he's done a hell of a lot, like Buddy Daddies, the
Mhm.
Persona 3
Yeah, yeah.
movies, Tsukigakure, Bang Dream, so on and so forth. Like he's done a hell of a lot of sound directing. Um, and even for a lot of these series, like I mean, I'm looking at even Hakume Tumakochi. I'm like, the sound directing was something that definitely stood out. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
been
yeah.
pretty cool. As far as director goes, I'm not sure is premiere directing. No, he was also the director
The
for Petit
recent year anime?
Picome.
Okay.
Yeah, Petit
Okay, that's not
Picome.
bad.
He was also director for. He's done a lot of like episode directing for a lot of good stuff. Kind of
Mhm.
like here and there, but I'm not really seeing any other like lead director other than this and Petit Picome.
Okay.
Yeah, that appears to be the only things. But I mean, so far, like pretty good showing, I would say. Like
Mhm.
I said, not really sure where this will go, but overall, it's been pretty good.
Mhm.
Yeah, and like I said, the music has been really good as well.
Yeah, OPED?
OPED is very fun. Um, the OP is Gimme Gimme, which is all of the vampire girls like CVs essentially singing the OP.
Mhm.
And it's supposed to be like, obviously like a lot of the OP visually is a mashup of them doing different like YouTube stuff. Um,
Mhm.
but then the OP itself, I think, is, it's obviously supposed to be sort of like a live, like a dance type thing to be posted to YouTube. The ED and the visual style is like nothing. I don't want to say like it's not that it's not nothing special, right? Because like visually it's really nice, but it's not like a stylized like type thing, right? Like it is in the style of the show. The ED,
Mhm.
however, is in a completely different style that I'm struggling to like really say like what it is. Like it's sort of like a painted cartoony type thing, but not like cartoony as in like childish. It's just like a more simplified thing with
Mhm.
almost like these like chalky or like paint style type thing. And that's called Henshuten, and that's by Masaki's. That's like a Masaki CV type thing. That's Ikumi Hasegawa, and it's a like some of it is like a spoken, almost like and like slash rap type thing, and then the
Oh,
other
okay.
is a very like normal song. Like some of it is just straight up spoken, like spoken lines.
Almost like prose, yeah. It's
Yeah, the ED is really really good. I think the ED is very very nice, and it's just like I said, like visually striking, and also just the song itself is quite nice. As far as the VAs go, obviously I said, we have Fido's Eye as live. Masaki is Ikumi Hasegawa. Um, Obviously another prolific voice actor, Kita, Bochi the Rock,
hmm
Ubel, Sono Frieren, to just very, very recent series. But yeah, pretty star-studded cast. I think there is like one newcomer that I was like shocked was a newcomer. Oh yeah, I mean I guess also worth mentioning is Tokage's VA is Hitomi Ueda. So, gold
yes, yes,
ship
yes.
and very much
Gold
very
ship.
much managing to do a lot of like very similar inflections.
Yeah,
Yuki
high
is
and
Kai
high
no
tension kind
Ai.
of like wonky. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then, Yuki is Kai no Ai. Uh, However, Ichiko, the blonde, like lolly type character, I don't remember who. I'm trying to like place who I was thinking this was because I wasn't. I. I'll have to see. I might have been thinking it was what's her name? But I mean, I might just be basing that off of like character appearance. I'd have to go back and listen. I might have thought it was Usaka Sumire. Just thinking of fucking what's her name from Chunibyo, Sanai. But
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
yeah, but it's a very like it's like kind of that type of voice, right? It's that type
hmm
of voice that Usagi Sumire does, like for that or for Colette, or but a little bit raspier. But yeah, this is pretty much a complete newcomer, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, this is a voice actress named Yuina Ito, and it seems like strangely, like her only other role was a supporting role in Zunda Horizon from 2017.
What? Well,
So
there are
I
some
don't know
people
if
like that where like
she may
they
have
they
also
get like
just
a
done
role
like
and then they just dip under.
yeah,
Yeah.
and she may have also done like video games or something like in
hmm
between, like who the hell knows, right? Because Maul does not list that, so I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Actually, there
One of the
are
things I
so
really
what I was
wish
thinking
Maul did.
was like what I was thinking was that I actually noticed at least a few of those where it's like there are a lot of up and comers, not up and comers, but like people that have had roles in 2017, 2018, and then they like dipped under the radar and like they're now just getting roles back up again in like more like bigger roles or like main roles in some series, stuff like that. And I guess the obvious reason would be that COVID-19 happened. And with COVID-19, as we all know, right, the number of anime that was airing dramatically decreased. Like it got halved essentially, right? And in that or
Yeah, it's only
the number of
150
anime
per
that could be
season.
aired and produced, right? Exactly. Went for 300 to 150, right? So because the number of anime that was actually airing and being out and providing like promotion for these voice actors and actresses were so decreased that they also, in that sense, it also made it so that the only people that were really getting uh a lot of airtime were the people that were already established before
Yeah, known
COVID-19 happened.
entities.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
I
So a
mean,
lot of
plus it's
people
probably also
got
difficult
17 of that.
to
Yeah.
yeah, like during COVID it would have been also like difficult. Well, not difficult, but you can get why. Not needing to do as
Uh-huh.
many casting calls, not needing to do as many like takes with more experienced people, et cetera, et cetera.
Hmm.
But yeah, so that definitely
But
could have
yeah.
been a factor. But really awesome to hear her here. I think she's doing a really good job. Uh,
Mhm.
and yeah, no complaints from me.
Okay. Uh, I guess any last words? And again, I guess the score from you.
I guess last words would be that I would recommend this to most people as of right now. Um,
Okay.
if you just like slapstick comedy, great. If you like random trivia, like YouTube vampire trivia, sure. Why the hell not?
Yeah.
If you like that sort of dynamic of like Kuroko to Misaka in Rail Deck series, like that sort of like fawning over thing, y'all get that with Live and Masaki. Um, if you like Fire's Eye, you know, um, yeah, just like all around, like this has been some really killer stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
this
And I
has
gotta
been very
say
very
that
fun, and like I said, audio
um
visuals are great, like very
yeah.
good.
And I just want to say that, you know, we in this podcast have been relatively down on, especially myself and Nier, have been relatively down on PA Works
Hey, we're only halfway through,
before.
and I only got 5 episodes in, so it could fucking fall
Yeah.
apart. Like,
Uh,
who
uh,
knows?
uh,
But at least for now.
but before we've been down, like even from the start almost, with stuff like I Became a God,
Hey,
Aquatope, stuff like
to
that.
be fair, I was pretty positive on the day I became a god,
Yeah, and then it failed in the last like three
and
episodes.
then you were
Yeah.
like, you should watch one more episode, my friend.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh no.
Oh no. How many episodes did you watch, dear? And that was before the podcast. You're like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, like for
oh
all
my
I
god.
know, like this
And
shit could like they could get vaporized by the sunlight or something by the
then, yeah.
and
Phew,
fucking
but yeah.
like
Um.
a mother
Yeah.
could become like a genuine threat or something. Like who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
But
So like ever since I want to say seriously Jaeger, they've had a little bit of rough and tumble. That was like 2018. So like I would say late 2018 to around 2021, they had a pretty up and down road. But ever since then, I think from starting from Peripikome, they went to Akiba Maid War, Buddy Daddies, Skip and Loafer, and now Sakuna and Mind Like a Punch. They've had a pretty good streak all the way up for the past couple of years. And, I'm hoping if I end up reviewing Nare Nare that it doesn't end up being complete crap. But, hopefully it
Yeah.
yeah,
doesn't
I
end up being
mean,
complete
listen,
crap. But,
man.
they've had a good streak.
Yeah, like look, I'm like what can I say? I'm a big
This
fan
is
of
original, right?
I believe
I
so,
believe it is.
actually.
Yeah.
There's something I did not. Yeah, this is an original.
Yeah.
Um, so, uh-oh. But you know, to say, right? Um, but yeah, like I said, really, just a really good series so far. Really good showing. Very
Hmm.
fun.
All right.
Um,
What would you rate it?
right now, I mean, this could bite me in the ass, but I'd say like in maybe like a strong 8.5, maybe like a light 9 or something,
Okay.
if anything. Because like I said, like it's
We'll,
not,
we'll, we'll see you next week for 30 minutes. Yeah. It's
yeah, I mean,
like,
we'll see in a couple weeks, like in like a month, we'll see what the fuck happens. But
yeah.
like, at least right now, like this is like there are definitely not that many series right now that I'm like looking forward to just like burning through.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
just waiting for the next one, right? Over and
Mhm.
over again. But this is definitely one that I am, and this one's a really good one. And like I said,
All right.
damn shame they didn't email people behind the scenes to promo this before it came out, because I really think they could have done wonders if they just begged for free publicity.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you very much, Dark, for giving us the rundown on the second of 3 PA work series that they're doing this season, and that's a monumental thing again. I just want to point out. But the second one, again, the other one that we covered being Sakuna of Rice and Ruin. This one is also shaped up to be quite a decent one so far. It is Mayonaka Punch, an anime original. So if you do kind of like this comedy and running episodic kind of running around, uh, please do check this out.